Welcome, everyone, to Intensity Broadcasting for tonight's coverage of the SCSRA Xfinity Series. Tonight, these Xfinity cars will be taking on Iowa Speedway for 150 laps of racing action. I'm going to be your announcer for tonight, Atlee Atman. I'm excited to call every second of the action here for tonight's Hawkeye 130. First of all, I hope everyone had a nice winter break with the Christmas holiday and the New Year's holiday. I know we had 1 or 2 weeks off from this series, but we are back in business here tonight at Iowa. But again, hopefully everyone had a nice, fun, safe, and relaxing winter break. And coming into tonight's event, we've got one race on the season so far, and that was the season opener at Daytona, where Austin Blaylock got the win. He only led one lap in the race, but it was the one that counted, the last lap, and he ended up taking the win. It was a really, really crazy way to start off the season. You saw Devin Buchno. He ended up finishing second with 11 laps led. Third was Dustin Dean. Finishing fourth was Colin Willems, who dominated majority of the race, but after some unforeseen circumstances, the typical super speedway shenanigans, he ended up finishing in fourth. He led a race-high 44 laps again. Finishing position number 5 was Jeffrey Belk. He led 18 laps, and finishing 6th was Brian Nudie. He led 1 lap, and other lap leaders, they include Derek Chaput, who led 3 laps, and Brett Merle, who led 2 laps. So now, after everything is said and done, here's a look at your top 10 in the point standings. And you might be thinking, well, it's probably going to be the exact same as the results that I just said. But no, you'd actually be surprised based on bonus points from the duels and other bonus points like 0x and laps led and the pole. The standings are a little bit different. So right now, Austin Blaylock, he leads the point standings. He was the one who won Daytona. Then currently second in the standings is Devin Buchno. Third is Colin Willems. Fourth is Brian Merle Jr. Right now, fifth in the standings. That is Dustin Dean. Sixth is Eddie Morris. Seventh is Jeffrey Belk. Right now in eighth, that is Brian Nudie. Ninth is Joe Wright. And then rounding out your top 10, that is Derek Chaput. Also, one thing that we're going to be keeping track of all season long is the team standings. And right now, after the events of Daytona, CCM leads the team standings, and it makes sense because Austin Blaylock is a driver for CCM, and he did win the race at Daytona. Right now, second in the team standings, that is Neon Racing. Their highest driver in the standings is Devin Buchno, who is in second place. Third right now in the team standings, that is Wasted Wages Racing. Their best driver in the standings is Colin Willems, who is third. Fourth is IDBC Racing. Their highest driver in the standings is Jeffrey Belk, who is currently in seventh. And then rounding out your top 5 right now in the standings, that is Cheeseburger Motorsports' Michael Lawrence, who is currently 13th in the standings right now. And he's their only driver right now for Cheeseburger Motorsports. So he has them in 5th. Qualifying underway here at Iowa. Drivers will get 2 laps to try to set their best possible lap time, and that will determine where they will start in the feature event. Right now, we're watching Dustin Dean in the number 20 machine, or number 21 machine, traversing Iowa. There's number 11, Brett Merle. Brett had a tough one last week at Daytona. He's looking to have a little bit of a better night here tonight at Iowa. Dustin Dean, on the other hand, he had a very good showing at Daytona with a podium finish. And right now, he's sitting on the top of the board with a 24.28. That will put him 7 hundredths ahead of second place Brett Merle, and 9 hundredths ahead of third place Joe Wright. There's Colin Willems on track in the number 17 machine, hoping to have a dominant performance like he had last week. but hoping to have a little bit of a better result than 4th, which is what happened to Colin Willems, where he led 44 laps at Daytona, but ended up finishing 4th in the race, despite leading the most laps. There goes that 17 machine through turns 3 and 4, getting ready to complete his second lap. Let's see what that 17 machine can do. And he is able to turn a 24.25. That will put him on the top of the board, 200ths ahead of second place Dustin Dean. So good lap for Colin Willems, looking to try to get his second pole of the season, which would mean he would have claimed 100% of the pole so far. I'd like to thank series sponsor Dev Sports Cards for all of their support of the SCSRA Xfinity Series. Dev Sports Cards was established in 2013 by SCSRA driver and Neon Racing team owner Devin Butchino. Dev Sports Cards specializes in all your sports cards and gaming cards needs, from football, baseball, and basketball cards to Pokemon. Dev Sports Cards sells it all. On their eBay store, you can find a wide variety of items, from high-end sports cards to the weekly 99-cent starting bid 7-day auctions. Don't have time to sell your own cards? Reach out to Devin and ask about his consignment services. Simply package them up, ship them out, and Devin will get them listed, sold, and then you get paid. Dev Sports Cards can be found on eBay with 4,000 plus positive feedback, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Dev Sports Cards is a proud sponsor of the SCSRA Series and Intensity Broadcasting. So thank you to Dev Sports Cards and Devin Butchno for all that they do for this series, and good luck to Devin tonight. Actually, no, he's not in the field, but good luck to Devin this season as he traverses this oh, no, he is in the field, sorry. Good luck to Devin tonight as he traverses the tricky track of Iowa Speedway. Hopefully the namesake of Dev Sports Cards has a good performance tonight. I would also like to thank Butt Kicker for all of their support of the series, or all of their support of Intensity Broadcasting. Intensity Broadcasting is proud to be partnered with Butt Kicker. And Butt Kicker is a very well-recognized brand in the sim racing community. And you're probably wondering, well, what is Butt Kicker? I will tell you, Butt Kicker is the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing and gaming hardware that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one is right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. Again, thebuttkicker.com is the website belonging to the established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. So again, thank you so much to the Butt Kicker for partnering with Intensity Broadcasting. If you are a sim racer, definitely consider checking them out. I use my Butt Kicker always whenever I am on iRacing, and it is like iRacing in a 4D movie theater. You can feel every little thing. It's like you're in a real race car, and I drive in real life, and I'd say with that Butt Kicker, it is the closest I have ever felt to driving in real life on the sim, so definitely make sure to go and check them out. Now let's talk about the keys to the race tonight here at Iowa. First of all, tires, both the right front and right rear. Conserving them is going to definitely be a top priority for these drivers. You know, if you can save tires, you are going to definitely be a top driver in tonight's event. So throughout this race, the drivers who can save tires the best will definitely rise to the top of the field. The car is definitely very, very loose here on Iowa. As we just saw Cody Moore get loose off of 4 there. That typically happens here for a lot of drivers, so car control is definitely going to be key. The driver who can control their car the best is going to be successful because of how loose the car is. Don't want it to come out from under you off of exit, off of 2 and 4. And then last but not least, this is a short track, so there's going to be short track shenanigans. Drivers just really need to be heads up with everything that's going on and just avoid the short track wrecks that typically happen. And there you go. That's my keys to the race. You know, if you can save tires, control your car, and drive heads up and avoid wrecks, you are going to be successful here tonight. We had a little bit of a shake-up right now in the qualifying rankings. Willems is still first, but Devin Butchno got to second with a 24.27, putting him 100th off of first place Colin Willems. And then third, that is Dustin Dean, who is 200ths off of first place Colin Willems. There you go. I believe that'll do it for qualifying unless anybody else turns a lap. It's looking like Colin Willems will get his second pole of the season, which means that he's the only driver to have won the pole this season. So far, so good for Colin Willems' run at the championship. Trying to get his first one ever here in the Xfinity Series. So far, our only champions have been Cameron Austin, Cody Moore, and Devin Butchno. In all 3 of our previous SCSRA Xfinity Series seasons, Colin Willems has always been in the mix, but he never has been able to get it done on the final race. So this season could be the season for Colin Willems. And I guess it is the year because we're only in our second race of the season and it's the start of 2023. So this could be the season or the year for Mr. Colin Willems. All right, qualifying is over. It's time to introduce your starting lineup for tonight's event. Starting on the pole with a scorching hot lap time of 24.254. That is Wasted Wages Racing's Colin Willems in the number 17. Outside of him, that's last season's champion and Neon Racing driver Devin Butchno in the 68 machine. And third driver of the number 21, that is Dustin Dean. Fourth is CCM's Eddie Morris in the 8 machine. And rounding out your top 5, Season 2 champion and Wasted Wages Racing driver Cody Moore in the 52. In 6th, that's Neon Racing's Brett Merle in the 11. 7th is CCM's Joe Wright in the 82. And in 8th, that is Cheeseburger Motorsports' Michael Provolt in the 95 machine. 9th is CCM and 2 weeks ago's winner, Austin Blaylock in the 99. And rounding out your top 10, that is IDBC Racing's Josh Hall in the 81. And 11th, that is Dave Wright in the 84. 12th is Neon Racing's Brian Merle Jr. And 13th, that's Wasted Wages Racing's Derek Chaput in the 37. And last but most certainly not least, that is CCM's Brian Nudie in the 40 machine. And right now, it looks like we don't have 2 drivers on the grid. Looks to be Dustin Dean and Brian Nudie. There we go. Dustin Dean was able to grid. So only driver that looks to be missing is Brian Nudie in the 40 machine. I know Brian Nudie has been having some power issues, as has a lot of Northern California. We're lucky to have drivers like Brian Merle Jr. and Brett Merle. I know we're missing Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence as well due to Northern California power outages. Michael Lawrence says Brian Nudie lost power. Yeah. Sorry to hear that for, you, Cheeseburger, and Brian, and all of our Northern California drivers that had to miss tonight. Oh, and Cheeseburger says he has power, but no internet. Jeez. Well, hopefully both you and Nudie can get both your power and your internet back very, very soon, so you won't have to miss any more races this season. But hopefully you can still enjoy the broadcast tonight, even if you can't run it. Should be a great race here at Iowa. Got every second of action here on Intensity Broadcasting. Now, this is our first real race of the season. Yes, Daytona was a real race. It was a points race, but Daytona's so unpredictable. There's a lot of craziness going on. We really weren't able to see, who was going to be the fastest and the ones to watch all throughout the season at, non-super speedways. So this is going to be our kind of first test to see who is going to be successful throughout Season 4. Pace car is in, and green flag is out. The Hawkeye 130 is underway here at Iowa Speedway. There's Colin Willems going up through the gears. He's able to get clear. And Dustin Dean, great run on the bottom. He is able to get clear of Devin Butchno as they head into turns 1 and 2. Now, Dustin Dean, he is setting his sights on your leader, Colin Willems, for that first place position. Right now, these drivers on cold tires. Probably by about this lap or the next, they'll be up to temperature. So the car might be a little bit skatey for these first 3 laps. There's Dustin Dean, great run on the bottom, getting really, really close to the back bumper of that 17 machine. This is Dustin Dean's first full-time season here in the SCSRA. He was an Iowa Series champion, but has not participated in any SCSRA Xfinity races until this season. So he's already started the season off with a bang with a podium finish, and now he's looking for another podium and maybe even a win tonight here at Iowa as he chases down your leader, Colin Willems, another Iowa Series champion who does not have an SCSRA championship here in this Xfinity Series. Saw last time by, Cody Moore ran the fastest lap time of the race with a 24.46. He is certainly going to be one to watch all throughout tonight's event. That 52 machine is really, really... Oh, there we go! Dustin Dean looking low under Colin Willems for the lead. They're side by side off of turn number 4. And Dustin Dean is going to be on Willems. Nope. Colin Willems is able to get clear as they head into turns 1 and 2. But Dustin Dean, he is staying right on the back bumper of Colin Willems. Right behind Dustin, that is Devin Butchno in that 68 machine who started in the second place spot, but quickly on lap number 1 lost that second place position to Dustin. So now he is trying to take that back, and he's got a great run on the bottom. Now, depending on what stage of the tire run we are in, Iowa can turn into a multi-groove racetrack based on, tire age. You can make the bottom and the middle and the top work. The bottom is typically, or the middle is typically the preferred groove, but you can make it work on the high side or on the bottom. Colin Willems starting to extend his lead between him and Dustin Dean. Dustin Dean has got a lot of pressure right now. We saw Devin Butchnow, he got loose off of turn number 4 there. That's going to be a common sight tonight. Exit of 2 and 4, definitely the 2 trickiest spots of the track. It is really, really easy for the car to break loose, so car control throughout this race is going to be key, especially as these tires wear and the car gets a little bit sketchier. Right now, about these first 10 laps, 10 to 15 laps of the tire run is when the car is at its best. And then as soon as about lap 16 hits of the tire run, the car is going to start to slow down, and it's either going to be super tight or super loose. And so these drivers are going to need to figure out a way to adapt to the aging of the tires. And at the same time, though, if you are really good at saving tires, like I mentioned earlier, saving the right front and right rear is important. You can kind of delay the aging of the tires a little bit by doing different things, whether it's having less input in the brakes or driving the car just not quite as hard as everybody else. There's lots of different ways to save tires, and right now at this stage of the race, it's kind of what a lot of the drivers in the field are doing, is just really saving tires so they can have the longest run possible. We've got Michael Provolt into the pits right now. And he is getting, oh, nope. Michael Provolt manually disconnects. That was really weird there. We hadn't really seen anything happen to Provolt throughout this race, but you just saw him, he just manually disconnected there. He entered pit lane and just manually disconnected. That was super, super weird. Not entirely sure what happened to the 95. If I get an update, I will definitely let the viewers know. But Michael Provolt fans, he is out of the race tonight, as he is manually disconnected within the first 15 laps. We look at some of the action going on track. You can throw a blanket over 2nd through 4th right now. It's Dustin Dean, Devin Butchnow, and Cody Moore. Cody Moore right on the back bumper of Devin Butchnow as they head through turns 3 and 4. Trying to find a way to get by that 68 machine. We saw Dustin Dean tag the outside wall a little bit there. Cody Moore, yeah, he's right there. It's just trying to find a groove to get by Devin. Devin, he's running that preferred lane of the middle groove, and if you get out of the groove at Iowa, it's really difficult to have any sort of momentum, passing super hard. So Cody Moore is just trying to find a way to be able to get by Devin while keeping up his momentum, even though he's out of the racing groove. There we go. They're side by side on the backstretch. This is for the 3rd place position. Butchnow with the nose on the outside. But a big run through turns 3 and 4. And they are pretty much equal as they head off the corner. Butchnow tags the outside wall a little bit. And he's got a great run heading into turns 1 and 2. Here comes Cody on the bottom once again, though. He's got the nose as they head on to the backstretch. And right in both drivers' rearview mirror is the 8 machine of Eddie Morris, maybe looking to try to make this a 3-car battle. Devin Butchnow trying his hardest to get clear of Cody Moore, but he is keeping up on that bottom. See Cody Moore, he's got the nose as they head on to the backstretch. And he is clear. Cody Moore able to get into the 3rd place spot. He is the 2nd biggest mover of the race. Started in the 3rd place position, but he has gotten by Eddie Morris and Devin Butchnow. And here he is now, reeling in Dustin Dean for that 2nd place position. Right now, field pretty spread out. A lot of single file action going on here at Iowa. But we see Cody Moore. He is reeling Dustin Dean in fast for that second place position. There's Cody Moore sending it down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get under the 21 machine. But no, at the moment, Dustin Dean is going to stay clear of the 52 of Cody Moore. And Cody is able to get to the rear quarter panel of Dustin Dean as they head off of turn number 2. They are side by side heading into turns 3 and 4. And Cody's got the nose. Cody is clear. Cody Moore now to position number 2. But Dustin Dean trying to make the crossover happen. He looks under Cody Moore as they head into turns 1 and 2. Cody Moore with the preferred groove running on that middle lane. And he is able to stay clear of Dustin Dean. So Cody Moore, he is still the second biggest mover of the race. He has gone from 5th to 2nd now. And the last driver he needs to get by for the lead is your race leader, Colin Willems, who currently has a 1.1 second lead over second place Cody Moore. We see Dustin Dean not letting Cody Moore extend his gap between him too much. There we go. We saw the gap kind of expanded there, heading into turns 3 and 4. Now Devin Bucciano reeling in Dustin Dean for that third place position. Another battle throughout the field. Joe Wright beginning to reel in Brian Merle Jr. for the 7th place position. Joe right up to the back bumper as they head on to the backstretch. We take a look now to the battle for third between Dustin Dean and Devin Bucciano, although that gap extends a little bit between those two. And we are already 25 laps through this thing here at Iowa. And I want to quickly take the time to talk a little bit about the track that we are racing at tonight. One of the most underrated tracks on iRacing. And it's also one of America's newest racetracks. Iowa Speedway is located in Newton, Iowa. It has been in operation since 2006. The 7/8 mile oval was designed and built under the guidance of NASCAR champion Rusty Wallace at a cost of approximately $70 million. Thus, it's no coincidence the D-shaped oval is patterned after Richmond International Raceway. That was the scene of some of Wallace's greatest success during his career. Iowa Speedway has a seating capacity of more than 30,000, together with a unique multi-tiered recreational vehicle viewing areas along its 869-inch long backstretch, a fixture on the NASCAR and IndyCar schedules, 869 feet long backstretch, a fixture on the NASCAR and IndyCar schedules. Iowa Speedway also boasts a 9-turn, 1.3-mile road course, which utilizes most of the main oval, along with a highly technical infield section, and hosts professional and amateur sports car races. So, unfortunately, at the moment, Iowa is not home to any of the NASCAR's top 3 series races. The Cup, Xfinity, Truck, neither of those 3 series races there, but the track is home to ARCA races, and the IndyCar weekend has been getting extremely huge at Iowa. Grocery store Hy-Vee is putting on a big concert series at Iowa this season for the IndyCar race. So if you are in the Midwest and are looking for something fun to do, then definitely go check out the Iowa IndyCar weekend. There's going to be concerts from a lot of big names, and then, of course, IndyCar racing. And hopefully, maybe one day, one of NASCAR's top 3 series can return to Iowa. Maybe for the 2024 season. That would be really cool. We've got a gaggle of cars right now battling it out for the 6th place position right now. We're side by side between the Merle brothers, Brian Merle Jr., Brett Merle, and Joe Wright is looking low, trying to make it 3 wide. Brett Merle on the outside. He is almost clear of Brian Merle Jr., but Jr. staying right on the door of that 11 machine as they head through turns 3 and 4 and on to the front stretch. And it looks like Brett Merle is able to get clear over Brian Merle Jr. at the moment. Everybody kind of tucking into line. But here's Brian Merle Jr. got a big run on the bottom as they head on to the backstretch. Altered Passions has got the sleepy emoji on YouTube. Yeah, it's been a bit of a boring race so far here at Iowa. Iowa typically has this kind of single file racing, but eventually when pit strategy comes into play, it might get a little bit more exciting. But right now we've got a exciting battle once again for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th between a lot of different drivers. Currently, Brian Merle Jr., Brett Merle battling it out for the 6th and 7th place positions, and they've got Joe Wright, Austin Blaylock lurking right behind them. Junior's got the nose heading into turns 1 and 2. But Brett Merle, he is holding his own on that outside. And they are pretty much equal as they cross the start-finish line. Brett with a little bit of a nose, but as we see, big run from Brian Merle Jr. as they head into turns 1 and 2 once again. And Joe Wright right behind them, giving them a ton of pressure. Brian Merle Jr. and Brett Merle trying their best to hold off Joe Wright and prevent him from getting both the 6th and 7th place positions that the Merle brothers are fighting for. Wow, and it's been a pretty long time now that Brett and Brian have been side by side. And they're going to race each other clean, considering they're A, brothers, and B, teammates. I'm interested to see how long this side-by-side battle is going to last. There we see once again Brian Merle Jr. driving it hard into turns 1 and 2. Side by side with his brother once again. But Brett holding his own on that outside. I know Joe Wright, he's trying to find some way to make a move, but I believe at this stage of the race, you don't want to go 3 wide, and maybe for the entire race you don't want to go 3 wide, considering the track that we are racing at isn't exactly a super speedway where 3 wide racing is common. Now, Iowa does have extremely wide turns and straightaways where it is certainly entirely possible we could see 3 wide racing. I don't know, though, if Joe wants to try to do that so early on in this race. Same thing with Austin Blaylock, who was right behind Joe, right in his tire tracks. The brothers continue to battle it out. They're pretty much equal on the backstretch. Brett with a little bit of a nose. It looks like on the straightaways, Brett has the advantage. He's got more speed. But then heading through the corners, Brian is the one that's got the good run. And Brian's got the good run through the corners because, A, it's the shortest way around the track. But, oh, and there we go. Brian Merle Jr., he's finally clear of Brett Merle as they head onto the backstretch. So now Brian Merle Jr. in 6th, Brett Merle in 7th. And then Joe Wright and Austin Blaylock, they're still in 8th and 9th right now. Brett Merle sticking right with Brian Merle Jr., though, for this 6th place position. He's not let him get away, and he's going to the outside now, trying to get by Brian up there. These two are the Kyle and Kurt Busch of the SCSRA series. Oh, getting a little bit loose there off of turn number 4. That was Brett Merle almost tagging the outside wall. Luckily, he keeps the car off of the wall. And there goes Joe Wright on the bottom, trying to make a move on Brett Merle. Watch out for that 82 machine. He's got a big run on Brett Merle as they head off of turn number 4 watch out for Joe Wright. Right now, looking to see what Brett is doing, where he's braking, where he's lifting, where he's getting back into the gas, and he's trying to use that to his advantage. Kind of seeing where's Brett's weak points, and, you know, maybe that's where Joe's got to be his very best. So if Brett's struggling on exit, or if he's getting tight in the center of the corner, then maybe that's where Joe is going to want to try to make his pass. And they're actually side by side on the front stretch right now. Brett with a little bit of a nose on the outside, but here's Joe Wright as they head into turns 1 and 2. He's got a big run on the bottom, almost clear of that 11 machine. But we see Brett Merle fighting back on the outside there on the backstretch, and once again, big run for Joe Wright through the corners. And he is able to get clear. Joe Wright now in position number 7. Brett Merle will fall to 8th, and Austin Blaylock, who has been right with these battles going on, he remains in 9th. So Austin Blaylock is the last driver that's got to try to make a pass on Brett Merle, and here he is looking low under Brett on the front stretch. Oh, I forgot to mention, at lap number 50, that will be the stage break, so a caution will fly, and this will give drivers an opportunity to come in and get some tires, get some fuel, and, you know, the whole field will get all bunched back up, and that'll be coming up in about 3 laps, so just stay tuned for that. Again, lap number 50 is the stage break, and then after that, there will be no more race control interruptions, cautions-wise, and it'll just be green flag unless there's a caution on the track, which means that we have a chance for some green flag pit stops. Austin Blaylock trying to get by Brett Merle for this 8th place position. Austin Blaylock trying to get his 2nd win in a row after winning last week's race at Daytona. Of course, Daytona, Iowa, 2 different tracks, 2 different skill sets. I don't know if Austin Blaylock is going to be able to do it, but hey, even though he's running in 9th, I've seen crazier things happen. After everything shakes out, who knows, he could have a good top 5, top 3, or maybe even get the win tonight. Joe Wright reeling in Brian Merle Jr. for the 6th place position. But it really won't matter as we're coming to the stage break. So they're fighting right now for stage points. Who will have the higher position when that stage break comes out? Joe Wright looking to see what's Brian Merle Jr.'s weak points right now. And there we go. The stage caution will come out. And it looks like Colin Willems is going to win the stage. And this is actually his 2nd stage win of the season. He won the stage at Daytona 2 weeks ago. So Colin Willems, 2nd stage win. He's going to get 10 bonus points, or I guess 10 stage points that'll help him in his trek to get his first ever SCSRA Xfinity Series championship. 2nd place was Cody Moore. 3rd was Dustin Dean. 4th was Eddie Morris. 5th was Devin Bucciano. 6th was Brian Merle Jr. 7th was Joe Wright. 8th was Brett Merle. 9th was Austin Blaylock. And rounding at your top 10, that was Dave Wright. And pit road is about to be a busy, busy place as the whole field heads on to pit road. And we're going to see some fresh tires and Sunoco fuel go on and into those machines. Colin Willems with the advantage. He does have that first pit stall. So he's right by the finish line of pit road. So it looks to be 4 tires and fuel for these drivers. Looks like Eddie Morris missed his pit stall. So there we go. It's Colin Willems, Dustin Dean, Cody Moore, Brian Merle Jr., Joe Wright, Brett Merle, Austin Blaylock, Dave Wright, and Derek Chaput, and then Devin Josh Hall. That is your top 10 heading off of pit road. You have 2 drivers staying on, Devin Butchno and Eddie Morris. Believe they're getting some damage fixed. In Eddie's case, it looked like Eddie missed his pit stall. So let's go ahead and do a driver interview. Let's pull in your 8th place driver, Dave Wright. Hey, Dave, this is Atlan in the broadcast room. We got a copy.
Man, I got you loud and clear, my bud.
Awesome. Well, looks like you're having a good top 10 run so far here at Iowa Speedway. You know, kind of describe your race so far and what are your expectations and goals here on this after the stage break?
Well, only 12 cars in this one, so I'm firmly in the caboose. Shouldn't be hard to get a top 10, but then again, we'll see what happens. I don't know that I got the speed of these guys up here. We'll see if we can do something pit strategy and see if it goes green flag, we might be in trouble though, man. We'll see.
Well, it looks like we're getting ready to go back green here, so good luck on this next restart and good luck for the next of the race, Dave.
Appreciate it, sir.
See. Well, that is Dave Wright. He is going to be restarting in the 8th place position here. But here is right now your front 2. That's Colin Willems and Dustin Dean behind them. Cody Moore, Brian Merle Jr. And then rounding out your top 5, that is Joe Wright. Everybody's got fresh tires. Let's see how this restart goes. From here on out, the only cautions that will come out will be from the action on track. If there's no wrecks for the rest of the race, we're going to have a long green flag run. And green flag back out here at Iowa Speedway. There's Colin Willems taking off up through the gears. Great restart for Cody Moore. Despite restarting in 3rd, he's able to get by Dustin Dean and runs in that 2nd place position. But Dustin Dean, they make contact. Dustin Dean in the outside wall. And that's also going to slow down Cody's momentum. So the brothers Brett and Brian looking low under Cody as they head through turns 3 and 4. Brett is able to get clear of Cody Moore, but Cody with the crossover, he is side by side with Brett Merle as they head into turns 1 and 2. Cody a little bit loose there, but he is able to save the car, and he's staying right with Brett Merle as they head on to the backstretch. Brett extending that gap a little bit between him and Cody, and Brian Merle Jr. starting to reel in Cody Moore for that 3rd place position. That was a really, really crazy turn of events there. It looked like on that restart we just saw the 52 and the 21 made contact, and that ended up putting the 21 of Dustin Dean into the outside wall, and that really slowed up Cody's momentum. So that is not what either of them wanted on that restart. It hurt Dustin Dean more, though, as he went from battling for 2nd to running in 6th. Brett Merle starting to reel in Colin Willems now for that 1st place position. Last time by, Brett ran his personal best lap time of the race, and here he is right up to the back bumper of Colin Willems. As they cross the start-finish line, will be 60 laps completed. Brett Merle looking low as they head through turns 1 and 2. Colin Willems, he has been incredible tonight. He's had